I just got home from Celebrate Recovery at Center Church tonight, and I wish I could say something, happened that gave me an epiphany or whatever, but it didn't. It was a good meeting, but then I get out of the meeting and I check my text, and there's a message about our John Maxwell Leadership Mentoring Conference call tomorrow, and they got a quote on there from Denzel Washington that a true desire of your heart is God's proof to you that it's yours already. And I'm like, wow. Today, earlier, I was taking my neighbor to the Cooper Wellness Center in McAllen. I was waiting for her, and I get a message from this lady. She's a fitness instructor. She was just really enthusiastic, and that got my attention. And she's markets this supplement is ketones, and I'm familiar with ketones, and but I'm not familiar with it as a supplement. I'm familiar when people fast and the ketones, make your body so you stop being hungry, and so they have this supplement, and she told me the story behind it was that Navy SEALs were doing experimental diving, and they had to have a low calorie diet, so they would have ketones in their system because they were the gases they were breathing at depth, and they got tired of it. They had no energy, and they figured out um, how to make it into introduce ketones into their bodies without them having to starve. They got all cut, they got ripped up and cut up. When their workouts, they had more energy, and so now there's a supplement that is out there on the market for that. And there's a sale, so I got some coming. And well, she had put on in her just a video of her talking about her past life. She was like a war correspondent in El Salvador and Nicaragua back, in the 80s and 90s, I guess. And at the same time I was down there, and I'm like, that's just crazy. And so after that, I had a dream I'd had for the longest time pop in my head that I hadn't had for forever. It had died. My dream had died. I used to be a free fall jump master. Everyone wants to skydive, and so whenever we got a plane, we'd always try to figure out how to use it for jumping. So whenever we went on a trip to Colombia or Venezuela or Ecuador or wherever, I would have the advanced party give me the Latin long for the airfield that they landed at, and then the prevailing winds, and I would get that to the Air Force combat controllers, and they would generate a drop zone survey. And then when I would do the pilot's brief, we'd talk about doing a jump. So we'd fly with two C-130s full of trucks, boats, pallets, and we would offload everything, and then we'd jacobite, give a brief, get in a plane, fly for 12,500 feet. I would spot the jump out, and that plane would keep flying to Colombia. And then we'd get in the second plane, everybody, pack up their parachutes, get back in, and I would spot the jump, but I had to stay with the plane because I had to go back to Panama. And they would do the mail run, and they would go to Colombia, and they would buy a whole pallet full of Colombian coffee for their coffee mess back in the States. And they would buy rubies, emeralds, and sapphires for their wives and their girlfriends, or both. And because that's where they mine them from, and they're not expensive, not as expensive. Then they would fly to Montevideo, Uruguay, and they would trade coffee for Chilean beef, and the beef, and it's all graze fed, and it just melts in your mouth. It's incredible. And they'd buy fur coats, leather jackets, leather miniskirts, whatever, for their wives or their girlfriends or both. And then they would fly to Chile, and they would trade coffee for Chilean wine. Now, Chilean wine is special because it's when they transplanted the old world grapevines from Italy and France to the new world, California and Chile, some plague killed off all the grapevines in Europe, and then some bug got into in California. So the only place that there's still the old world grapes left is in Chile. Then they fly back to the States, and it's always, like, then they just awesome to have enough money to charter a plane or take a cruise around South America and do those things, as a civilian, and then go into Panama where you get 24 karat gold for your settings. You can't get that in the United States. And that all came out of that reignited, that dream came out of that situation today. And then, bam, it got reaffirmed with that quote from Denzel Washington. It's exciting to me. I can't wait for tomorrow. F3 workout, Center Church, Pharr, Texas. And then I have the John Maxwell leadership mentoring call after that. So I'm excited.